In this video, we are revisiting some projects from long ago. I don't know about you, but sometimes I get stuck. Like I don't know which direction I want to take a project, so I tuck it away. And then 3 years later, wah, 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 I gotta try and remember what I was doing. So this week, for our 4th week of our journal journey, we are taking a time each day to revisit some old projects that we've had tucked away, or just ones that we are just finishing up. We just need to put the finishing touches on, brush them up. And so we're taking things that we've learned in the last month, 6 months, year, and applying them to projects that we started long ago. This is a project. This is the bottom piece. It's going to be a storage journal of sorts. I'm taking my journal skills and some of my fabric skills, which are very small. I can sew a pillow. That's pretty much my skills. But tonight on the live stream, if I can get the table cleared off in time, the big table behind me, I'm going to set up my camera and y'all can watch me try my best at sewing some skirts, because I want to sew skirts. I can't find them on Amazon, and I can't find them in stores of the ones that I want, because I want 100% cotton, and everything's polyester nowadays and fast fashion and bleh. So this is going to be our cover. So I don't know what we're going to do exactly with this, but I know it's going to be folded over here, and then this is going to go on the top. So it'll look like that. I love this fabric. It's so pretty. It's just, yeah. So we'll tuck this to the side for now, because now our next step in this journal, these are really fun and really cool, and I might do a vinyl cutout that says stencils on it, and have it be in like some kind of funky print funky font. So what do we want for the top, and what do we want for the bottom? Because I know I want it to go this way, because I have some stencils that are longer. I'm hoping that they will fit inside there. That is the question. And then, so this is going to go here, like so, like that. But, so we need to glue these, and we're going to be using this pH neutral PVA glue. Dries clear, remains flexible, ideal for bookbinding and paper projects. And it does, I mean, this stuff is like on there. This ain't coming off. And I smooched a little on the sides there, but it's still really flexible and really nice. So let's figure out, okay, first we need to move some of this stuff that's over here. Ooh, that was a bad idea, leaving that there, because that's dangerous, leaving it open around me. There we go. And this can go over here. Okay. So we want to be able to have this close. So I think maybe the best idea would be to lay this up here and then lay this down. That's about how far we need it to be. So there's no such thing as just a smooge, is there? Okay, now we've got that. Let's see if our spacer will, I got a spacer in here. Oh, you know what we could use as a spacer is just, yeah, there it is. We could use this as a spacer, because that should give us enough room. And there we go. Make sure we're straight. Okay. And then I'm going to take my black Sharpie here. And I'm going to draw a line so I know where to put it back down. There we go. And this time we are going to flip this over, make sure that that's the side we want up. And then I'm going to take this and give it a good shake. Excuse me a moment. Okay, so we've got probably about an inch. So we're going to do an inch here. Come on. Oh, for Pete's sake. There we go. That worked. No, it did not work. Well, at least we know this glue doesn't dry super fast. Try and knock off as much of that as I can, and we're going to go in with our skewer. There we go. And clean it out. There we go. Now we're good. Now we're golden. I'm just going to set that right there in case we need, whoop, maybe not. Shame on you. Silly thing. Okay, so let's try this again. Take your towel, clean you off and put you back in your bin. There you go. Let's try, whoa, now we're flowing. Holy Hannah banana. Okay. And put the pin in. Oh, the pin doesn't want to, I guess I made it too big of a hole. That's all right. All right, so take our spatula here and just kind of smooch it out. And get this bottom edge. It'll probably be over the edge a little bit, but then, you know what? I'm okay with that. And this PVA glue doesn't dry very fast, so you got lots of working time. All right. Take this edge and just kind of move it over a little bit here. There we go. There. That works for me. I'm going to stick that over there so it's out of our way. And wipe up the excess. There we go. Flip this over. There we go. Push it down. Okay. Now, hopefully, nope. still too wet. Let's hope, in hopes to. While that sits for a minute, I'm going to grab some of my clamps off of these projects. We're going to finish this project today too, because once we get this glued down, we're going to not be able to work on this one because it's going to be clamped. So, come on, work with me. There we go. So we're going to move on to a different project. And we're kind of going to just kind of flex between projects here. There we go. That's not exactly where we wanted it. There we go. And we're going to flip this over like that. I just love how tactile this is. It's just soft. We might actually have to cut this edge off, which is okay. Oh no, we need to roll this over. That's what we're going to do. So let's... Okay, why are we so far off? Because we're very far off there. All right, let's try this again. I might hit the microphone and I apologize in advance. There we go. Now, I'll lay that down. And then we're going to take a little bit more glue. There we go. I'm just going to use my finger for this, just to smooch it out a little bit more. This is the easier way to do it, I guess. And now we know. Okay. I'll lift this up. There, that's a little bit more even. There. Okay, now we're going to take a piece of parchment, which there should be a piece of clean parchment somewhere around this parts. Somewhere around these parts. If we have to, we'll use a couple. There we go. And then put this on there. And then we can clamp it down. Maybe, there we go. Pushing the capacity of my clamps here. I get these clamps at Walmart. They're like, I think $1.50. There we go. Now we'll let that sit for a few hours to dry. So this is why these projects take so long. You know what we could do though, while we're waiting? I'm going to prop that up right there. So we can take this piece and put it on the top here. Because we're going to take one strip of fabric and we're going to do all the way down, and then we're going to fold the edges over and probably put some other kind of fabric on that just to kind of keep it all super sturdy. So let's lay this out. This is going to be our like closure, I hope. You know, if it doesn't work, we can always take it apart and rework it. That's the joy of doing our own thing, is we discover and realize that things don't always work the way we want, and or the way that we think they're going to work. So we got to be open and flexible to other ideas. So that's about that, and that's about that. So let's I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on here. There we go. Take our spatula. Just kind of loop it down. You can use your finger. I'm just trying not to get my fingers all full of glue at this point. You ever had those days where all you do is glue all day? Because that's what today is going to be, just me gluing a bunch of stuff. But also making decisions on what direction I want the project to take. Okay, there's that. And we're going to flip this over and line it up. Yeah, 2. No, that's 3. Okay, that's cool. Is it going to be straight? Probably not. But that's where, you know, if you want to practice on something for your own studio. Like, I've never done this before with this stupid heavy, because this is the cover of a wallpaper book, and then this is another heavy duty hard thing, but I want this to be durable and you know, hold up to me, because if it holds up to me, it'll hold up to just about anybody, if I'm going to be real about it. Okay, so we're going to bring this around. And hopefully it stays. Yay, it stayed. And then that should be, let's pull it just a little bit. So I'm lining these up. There we go. I'm going to pull it just a little bit. There we go. So it's not quite a ½ inch, more like 3/8 of an inch. Now, I'm going to lay this down and let this dry. I'm not going to clamp it though, because if we do end up having to readjust, which I don't think we will, because give me a moment, let me double check. Let me grab this, because this, I believe, if I remember correctly, where'd my measuring, there it is. I almost said measuring tape. Yeah, this is 6 inches. So we want this gap. Okay, maybe that's not going to work, because this is only 6.5. Oh, that'll work, because then it'll go over, because this is the idea. So this is our bottom, or this is our top, and then, well, now it's going to be kind of hard because they're 2 different things, but so lay it on its side. There we go. So imagine, if you will, this goes over the front like that, and it stays like that. unless it's really, there's not a lot of stuff in there, and then you can close it down further. Yep. Okay. And then we're going to have a piece of fabric on the sides, and it's just going to be this big fabric book that we're practicing with on the biggest scale possible. And that way we can take this and go, okay, how can we do this with regular chipboard and fabric and turn it into a smaller, like, journal? And this is us learning, and making mistakes is how we learn and grow. So, and I don't know if I like the fact that the fabric, the weave goes a different way, but I kind of like this. I kind of like it. I don't know. See, I can clean the slate and then draw things on it. I don't know if that's going to work. I tried to draw a heart. There we go. And just clean it off. See, those pillows that have all the glitter, or not glitter, the what are they called? Sequence that you rub your hand on, and one side's one color, one side's the other color. I stand in the store and play with those for literally 10 minutes because they're just ADHD fodder. All right, so we're gonna leave this here. I think I am gonna clamp it though. I think what we're gonna do, so we keep all this together, is we're gonna take this one. Come on. Yeah, there we go. And move that, and then we're going to move this over here. And we'll clamp them together. Maybe. That clamp doesn't like to get that big. Let's get this one. There we go. And that way they kind of press against each other, and I've got parchment between them. So, there we go. Let's see if we can get one more in the middle. Oi. Come on. Oh. Nope, not that one. There we go. He didn't like it very much, but he's gonna do it. All right, so we let that sit for a couple of hours, let it do its thing. So now let's come back to this one that we worked on last week, and my hand started doing its hand thing. We need to finish gluing these pieces in. I did finish the accordion for this, so I need to fold this down. There we go. And fold that down. I need my glue eraser. There we go. That helps so much. And then this should match up with this. In theory. And then there'll be a little gap there. And then this goes up, and the next one goes in here. So we can glue the next one. Why is that so much higher? I'm going to move this for a second. Okay, so we have our gap, and then this folds up like that. And then this should fold up to meet it. There we go. Let's hope our hand doesn't start cramping again. I came up here and worked on this for like literally 20 minutes, and then my hands were like, nope, not today, ma'am. So I've been doing a little bit at a time on this because I want to get it done. All right, our next one is this one. So we want to put it in the little gap. Like so. And I have a 1/4 inch spacer in here somewhere. I have a cart next to me that has all my little spacers and templates and stuff. So this is a 1/4 inch spacer. Okay. So we're going to put this in here. Like that. And then that goes down. Let's move this up a little bit so I'm not working halfway off the table. And then this, there's a fuzzy on here. How did you get there? You go over there. Yeah. And then we're going to stick this in here. And then clamp it down. Okay. We're going to have to make another 1/4 inch spacer to go in there too. So let's get that where we want it. And we're going to come back and glue in here just a line of this PVA glue again. And I didn't want to use art glitter glue because one, it's expensive. Two, I wanted something that I knew was going to hold up to the wear and tear that this book will be going through. Where'd my paper towel go? Lord have mercy. It's on the floor. All right, so we're going to lay this down, lift this up. And we're going to put a small piece of parchment right here alongside this. That way, this does not stick. And this is the back side, so that doesn't matter. And I'm going to readjust our spacer. And then we'll clamp this down. We're going to have to get different clamps out for the next part of this project because this one's going to get pretty thick. I have more clamps. They're just not attainable at this particular moment in time. There we go. Now we let this sit. So there's two projects. Progress, if we're going to be proper English. All right, let me get a sip of my beverage, my coffee, and I'll be right back. Okay, now, oops, now I have things falling at me. Why are you falling at me? Crazy. Okay, we're going to put you over here because that way you can't fall at me. And then we'll put you over there too, kind of propped up over here. Stay where I put you, please. Thank you. Now we can move on to the inside of this project. So this is the last one that we're going to have to put in, and then we'll have to glue the rest of it together and then put it in place like we're going to do with this one right now. And so we want to try and make sure that this is as flat as possible when we get to this point. And it is a little sticky. We might need to take our glue eraser when we're all done and hit it. So This is our front, this is our inside. So we're going to put this on the inside flap, like so. Just like that. Okay, so now I don't want to use the PVA glue because it'll take forever for it to dry. So I want to use something that's faster drying, like the art glitter glue, because we're not going to use a lot of it. Like the PVA glue that we're using a lot of and we have time to clamp it down and let it dry, that's cool. We're all cool with that. But because this is something we want to dry fairly quickly, because we got to sit here and hold it and, you know, talk about projects that we're working on or whatever, because it's going to be about 2 minutes. So maybe, I don't know. Sometimes this dries super duper fast and sometimes it like takes its own sweet time. So the first part we're going to do is we're going to do a line down here. Maybe. And then we're going to do a line down the middle. Maybe. I don't want to set this down because I got it like perfectly in my hand and my hand's not arguing yet. Come on, you. I might just take this metal tip off. Let's see if we can do it one-handed. Yes, we can. Ta-da. Now, oops. Okay, so now take my finger and smooch it out. It's already starting to get kind of tacky, which is kind of what we want. Okay, paper towel. Goodness sakes, I would lose my head if it wasn't attached. It fell on the floor again. Imagine that. Sometimes things have a mind of their own. Okay, so we're going to make sure our strings are out. There we go. I'm going to line this up with the front edge like so. Line this up with the back edge, and then take oy vey, and take our bone folder and we're going to burnish it down. And this isn't a true honest to goodness bone folder. This is a sewing tool, but it works for me. And isn't that what it's about? Finding things that work for you and fit in your budget and are comfortable in your hand. Okay, so we got that side done. Let's get this side done. And poke myself in the belly if I'm not careful. Okay, this is sliding. We don't want it to do that. Okay. We're good. We're centered in the center. We can actually come down just a hair. There we go. Crap. There we go. All right, now, and now we wait. I could, if I had 2 metal rulers, I could clamp the rulers down here like this. See, this is what I would do. But I don't have 2 rulers that are this size that are both metal. Excuse me. But you know what I can do is just use these to hold this down. Come on. This one's super long. And there. Now we just sit here and wait a moment. No. Upcycling NZ. Hi from New Zealand. Hello. Hello from Texas, USA. I'm going to hold this. I'm going to watch, see the clock. Oh my goodness. We're not going to get much done today. I mean, we're not going to be on long today because everything is going fairly smoothly, knock on wood, if I could. So, I wonder if, nope, it's not going to work. It's not the right angle to put pressure on. I was like, maybe if I'm just going to sit here for a minute. I think I'm just going to let it sit. I wonder if I can prop this up somehow. Oh, there we go. We can put that on there. And we'll take, oh, this glue's heavy. So put that there. We can free up our hands for a minute and kind of clean up our mess. Put the pin in here so if it does tip over, at least it's not going to spill everywhere. Maybe if I can find where it goes. Come on, there we go. Nope. There we go. So one of the things that I was looking at on Amazon today is they make these little silicone covers for decorating tips. And I'm like, I wonder if those would work for my glue bottles. So I might put that in my cart. All right, I'm going to get a sip of coffee. I will be right back. Thank you for your patience. I drink iced coffee and I wear a lav mic, and I don't want to expose you to that craziness. That is me taking a sip of an ice-filled container that is metal. I mean, tink, tink, tink in your ear. Okay. I wonder if I just let this sit for an hour, if that would keep it down. Let's just see where it's at. Because if it lifts up, we can always put more glue down. It's not that big of a deal. Don't get your boxers in a bunch. Okay. Let's put this. See, what I don't get about these metal tips is why they clog up so bad. Why would you, wouldn't you design a, wouldn't you put like non-stick coating inside of one of these? Okay, so I'm using my skewer. You know, when you put stuff like what are they called? Shish kebabs on the grill. This is a bamboo skewer, bamboo. I'm trying to be French, I guess. Bamboo skewer that you use to do that with. And I get them here at the Dollar Tree for, I think there's like 50 or 100 in a package for $1.25. They're also at the grocery store. They're like double the price, but still you get like 50 or 100 of them. And they work great for little stir sticks to clean up glue messes. And we're just going to pop that right back on there. Let's see where we're at with this. Because I would really like, yeah, see, it's still, but it's not moving. So there is that part. Oh no. Why'd you do that, Tish? Because you want to be... Okay, that popped up, so let's put a little bit more glue down. Maybe. Lord have mercy. I cleaned out the tip. All right, I'm going to put a little bit more glue down. And we're going to have to just burnish it again. And then we're going to have to just let this sit here for a few hours so it can dry. I'll bring out the metal rulers again. And we'll put that on there. So we got this, but this is all we can work on then. I mean, I don't have space anywhere else right now in the studio to put this because it's kind of big. And my table is really full of stuff. I'm actually kind of embarrassed by it. It's like really bad. And no one can see it, but I'm still kind of embarrassed by it. All right, let's put that back on there before we lose it. And I've got one more kind of heavy bottle. So we got that and that and that. And we got one more that's kind of heavy. That's not very heavy. Neither is that. How about this guy? Nope. I need to fill up all my bottles. That one's kind of heavy. Let's put this on here and then we'll put him on there too. And then we'll let this dry for a couple hours and we'll revisit it tomorrow. And I'll have one more, I'll have another project to throw in the cycle because right now we're just waiting for glue to dry. So let me know in the comments what kind of projects you'd like to see. I mean, what's something you've been dying to try but don't have a piece of equipment or don't have the appropriate materials for? More than likely I have it because I dabble in all the things. So, and I kind of collect. I'm a collector. Oh, this is nice and heavy. Let's put this on. We'll put that there and this here. There we go. We'll kind of round it out with that. There we go. So, do I have fancy weights? No. I have glue bottles and paint bottles, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to use these. So I will catch you either tonight. It'll be 7:30 Central Time when we start our work along session. Either that, I'll catch you tomorrow or in the replays. So remember, be kind to one another. Peace, love, and happiness.